Morning. Rainy days. Very, very thunderstormy. All of the experiences. Cans of orange Monster everywhere. Good day, good day. So I've been working on the software for MikeMike, which is kind of cool because the thing is like pure software almost. It's just an idea that doesn't seem to have been done before because I don't know, people don't mess around with like the serial interface. It's just like a minor debugging tool, even though people know you can communicate with it. The idea of using it as an interface to a blind device or headless device for input is, I guess, unheard of. Just not done or out of the consciousness, I suppose, which I guess is something that's good about me kind of getting into this older stuff, because it is all older stuff that I enjoy reading about and learning about, because it's interesting because that's the way they did things before we had, high-speed broadband connections to everything. High-speed internet and its consequences have been a disaster for the human race, and I joked about that before, but I realize now that things like YouTube, high-quality video being streamed, help probably millions of people, maybe tens of millions of people, but hurt billions of people. Billions with a B, because I think it's really that bad. It's damaging to have access to this kind of what's referred to as dynamic media by Maya. It's something that absorbs all your senses to the point that you subconsciously or not believe that it's real. And as we get into deeper and deeper deep fake territory, we get closer to the realization that we really don't know what things are real. The only reason I believe Twitter's real is because I communicate with some of the people I communicate with Twitter separately. I communicate with them on other mediums, even letters, sending mail. These are all things that happen in spite of a lot of fake news and things that are exaggerated or not really happening or made to believe that they happen. The whole concept of fake news is like, it's polarized at this point, which is super weird because both sides are happy to both sides. All the sides. There are no two sides. This is that whole election thing. You get to choose who the president is. Oh wow, I can pick anyone? No, you get to pick this guy or this guy. Well, what if I don't like either of them? Well, you got to choose one. This is me electing the president. This is me choosing. It's ridiculous. But the potential for all of this to be so faked. I mean, I do enjoy sci-fi. It has some problems. It's very interesting, at least in the most part. But sci-fi, I mean, like, do these people not read sci-fi? The kind of disinformation and information warfare that can take place. The concept of fifth generation warfare was something that I was recently introduced to, and it's so fitting. I don't know if that's like canon, if like, what's his name? I forget his name, the general that coined fourth generation warfare. May I remind you, we're still, the United States Army, or the United States military is still second generation warfare. Second generation warfare. And we're over here, there's probably some arguable fifth generation going on in there, but still, we're over here trying to figure out how we're the superpower and how we're in charge. Do you think the United States is in charge of the world militarily? You haven't been paying attention. For decades. But once that, the people who know actually know, but once the people who don't know find out, it's gonna be bad. Yeah, I don't want to get into all that. Goodness. Jesus is coming. Get ready. Oh boy. Right, so the misinformation, disinformation, the idea that you can create these ideas such that they permeate they permeate a society to the point that they're actually breathed into existence. Even the idea of like the Wag the Dog thing, which there's a lot of weirdness about that Wag the Dog movie. The idea of Wag the Dog is an incumbent president uses fake, Hollywood magic to have a battery low power screen appear on their phone and then plug in their phone. Creates a fake war basically in order to create sympathy, I guess, and distract from his scandals. And that whole thing is very... The idea is that, oh, this is an interesting idea for a Hollywood movie, and no, it seems extremely likely. It's extremely fitting. And you would make it like a movie, I guess, to kind of make fun of it or poke fun at it. And you can also, dumb it down a little bit so it looks kind of obvious, and you can laugh at it and say, oh, who would fall for this? Meanwhile, you go home and watch CNN or Fox News, and you're literally consuming the same false media. So the question, when you don't know what the media is, when you don't know what, I don't mean like the mainstream media or whatever that is, official media. I mean media. I mean objects. I mean images, pixels on your screen, words, articles that you consume, that data, that media, those images, and especially the videos. If all of those are fake, what can you know? And this is why I've been arguing this local interaction for such a long time, is because I pretty much assume most of it is fake, at least until some indication otherwise. The idea that with this level of AI that we have right now, which is actually, this is something that the level of AI can accomplish, is to make something that's mostly believable to most people. And if I were to make an account, say make a Twitter account or make a social media account, Facebook account, that said, hey, President Trump did X, Y, and Z. And people look at the claim, they say, oh, wow, that's quite an amazing claim. Who's this person making this claim? And it says, Bob Johnson. Okay, well, who's Bob Johnson? Bob Johnson from Wichita. Okay, who's Bob Johnson from Wichita? Okay, well, I can't find anything about a Bob Johnson from Wichita. And he has 0 followers and 0 friends. And he just joined the website, and his first post was today, and that's his only post. Like, this seems super fake. So all of those things that make posts and people seem fake, things seem unreal to us, are all things that can be very easily faked and reproduced with AI. Just automatically generating posts by other people. It's like Bob Jones, his first post is Trump did this, some political thing. Oh wow, that's unbelievable. And he just looks like he's just started. Well, you can have AI, or it's AI, it's just a script, really, a script and an algorithm. You can parse a bunch of old tweets or a bunch of old social media posts that were popular during the time, and then kind of rehash those with slightly different wording, and then make posts for this person seem real and relevant to the time that they were made in, and in whatever context. They can have whatever political leanings they want, and that account can also like a whole bunch of other things that would fit into whatever the narrative is of who this person is. You can even make it appear as if this person is a right-leaning person, and then you could do the oft-repeated, I'm the strongest Republican and strongest Trump supporter and strongest gun rights supporter that's ever existed in the history of mankind. But someone has to do something about getting rid of Trump and getting rid of our guns and getting rid of, it's that's the meme at this point. But the idea of being able to create all that stuff up whole cloth. So starting from that supposition, that's pretty simple to do, to make something that is passable. Now, it doesn't actually have to pass any kind of close scrutiny. It just has to go viral, because once it goes viral, it's in people's minds, and then they walk away, and it exists in the zeitgeist. It's in the ether, and it's in the back of people's minds. It's there, and it's difficult to unseat it once it's there, because that's all that matters. Even if 2 weeks later it's proved to be completely fake, and the guy who posted it says, this was a fake, it's a joke, lol, just kidding, ha ha ha. it doesn't matter. It still moved the Overton window. It still moved the political dial. So imagine doing that, but for a war on the other side of the world. So we see a lot of things coming out of Syria, and have seen a lot of things coming out of Syria, and we see, American troops withdrawing while the locals throw rocks at them and say, "You're leaving, you're retreating, you're leaving us to die." And it's like, what do you see here? The question is, the outrage that forms around that bit of viral video. Where does the outrage go if it's completely a fabrication or a total fabrication? What if it absolutely never happened? What if it's a video of a person, a deep faked person, on the screen talking, "Oh, here's what's going on, and here, look at these horrible things, the horrible conditions that are going on, and we need to do something, and my name's, Fatima Yosuf or something." I don't want to say an actual name. And then you can look up this person, and they've got relevant social media posts. And you can look up that person, and they graduated from whatever school in that local area on the other side of the world. And you're like, "Oh, this seems legit." And the video seems pretty legit, although most videos are pretty bad nowadays, especially on the cell phone, low quality cell phone videos. But all of this can be created very easily, very simply. And the potential for a single group or a single even a single individual with a little bit of video editing skills. I mean, you'd probably need a team of people to have their own specialties and focuses, because it's not knowing how to poke or how hard to poke. It's knowing where to poke and when to poke. Yeah, that's pretty unnerving. Now I'm trying to think about how individuals would do this, because I was thinking about organizations and governments, but imagine, so the United States is having a lot of riots and police protests and stuff like that. Imagine you made up a police brutality thing, whole cloth, the complete, the whole 9 yards. Well, whole 9 yards. You pretty much just have a shaky video camera of someone saying, "Oh no, I'm unarmed and I'm black," and then the police saying, "Haha, I have a gun and I'm going to shoot you because you're black." And then he shoots him, and the guy says, "Oh no, I'm dying now because I am black." And the white man says, "Oh, and I am white also, haha," and he twirls his mustache. And then the camera turns around and the person says, "Oh, I can't believe this," and then the camera turns off. Like, that's not too hard to make. But imagine if you just made that up for any town USA, and you can sprinkle in a little bit of things, something to imply that there's a police cover-up or something, and then publish it. And then the police come around and go, "Oh, well, that never happened. Like, we don't even know what that incident is." Like, "Oh, well, now that's further confirmation that the officials are trying to cover this up." And then the governor says, "I'm starting an inquiry into this thing," because that's what governors do when you give them kind of an ultimatum or something, and say you need an immediate reaction to this. Well, the governor's investigating it. Are you going to say that it never happened? You're moving the needle. You might even be sparking protests with a complete fabrication. And again, it's not being able to poke hard. It's just knowing where to poke and when to poke. Yeah, that's pretty sobering. Well, it's just let's all just, I'm nobody in particular. I'm sure someone else has thought of something like this. It's actually rather simple, which is kind of horrifying. But we get to a point where we don't know what is true. What have you seen except pixels on a screen? Because most of us have only seen pixels on a screen for most of these incidents or supposed incidents. And the other question, which brings me back to my other vlog. Could you really lie about something like that? And if you watch that one, you know the answer. The answer is yes, of course. It's just about power. It's just about accomplishing your objectives. And if you do those things to accomplish those things, yeah, you'll do it. You'll lie, you'll cheat, you'll steal, because it's supposed to be worth it. Well, I wasn't sure I was going to wind up here, but here I am.